Shalom. Call Halim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the earth. This is your brother Allah coming to you with another lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson will be entitled Northern Kingdom History. Right? And Lord willing, the elect of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai be edified. And this will be primarily going into how the Northern Kingdom, because if you don't know, the Northern Kingdom was here in the Americas first before the Southern Kingdom, and then the Southern Kingdom followed after. And you can read that in the book of Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, around verse well, really from 40 to 46, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll get into that, Lord willing. That I have that written, if I'm not mistaken. So once again, Lord willing, the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh shall be edified. And let's just get right into it. And also what you can do, because the brothers the brothers in this video, they go into a little bit more than what I'm about to go into. So it's maps, you know, it's maps, they have the 12 tribes sign in there, which I can pull that up too, you know. But yeah, a matter of fact, right. So you got Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar. Now Judah, which in Hebrew is Yehoiada, are the so-called Negroes. Benjamin in Hebrew is Banyamyan, which are the so-called West Indians. Levi in Hebrew is Loya, which are the so-called Haitians. And that's the southern kingdom, right? And Judah is the head of the southern kingdom. And the head of the northern kingdom is Ephraim, right? So you have Simeon, which in Hebrew is Shadmaiwan, which are the so-called Dominicans. Zebulun, which in Hebrew is Zabalawan, which are the so-called Guatemalans to Panamanians. Ephraim, which in Hebrew is Aparayam, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans. Manasseh, which in Hebrew is Manashah, which are the so-called Cubans. Gad, which in Hebrew is God, which are the so-called North American Indians. Reuben, which in Hebrew is, if I'm not mistaken, Ra'aban or Rabban, which are the so-called Seminole Indians. Naphtali, which in Hebrew is Naphtaliah, which are the so-called Argentinians to Chileans. Asher, which in Hebrew is Ashar, which are the so-called Colombians to Uruguayans. And Issachar, which in Hebrew is Yashashkar, which are the so-called Mexicans, right? And that's the northern kingdom. From Simeon down to, well, really, let me see this one. Okay, it's pretty much the same as that one. But Ephraim down to Issachar, because Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. And once again, Judah is the head of the southern kingdom. So those are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, which Israel in Hebrew is Yasharallah, which Yah, he, Shar, prince, Allah, power. He, prince, power. He is a prince of the power, you know. So, I suggest you, Akim, primarily go watch this. And, you, Akim, can too. And it's two parts. Let me go here real quick. So this is the first part, the 1 hour 56 minute 17-second one, and then the second part, the 1 hour 27 minutes and 41-second one. So if I'm not mistaken, I watched both before, but I was just reviewing it, and Lord willing, want to bring out this lesson regarding it. is beautiful going into the breakdowns because hey, you may have new sisters and brothers watching, or brothers and sisters watching, and they might not know, or they may have saw the sign, but they don't really know the history behind it, or whatever the case may be, right? But Lord willing, we'll go into it. Okay, so the first scripture, um, which I got scriptures written down on the flashcard, going into it. So we'll start at the book of we can close that, we can close that, we can close that, and I'll read out the blue letter, Lord willing. All right, First Kings 11 and start at 1. All right. Once again, oh, never mind, I already said it. Let me take this highlight off. Remove highlight. Remove this too. Remove highlight. All right. First Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's supposed to be. Hold on, real quick. Let me check that. Okay, daughter of Pharaoh. Yeah. All right. Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. Right. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Now dealing with heathen women is no sin, right? But where Solomon fell short was when he started, you know, getting into the gods of these women, right? These heathen gods, these idols, right? And matter of fact, let me bear with me. 21 and 10. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 10, just to prove that you can deal with heathen women. All right, when thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy power have delivered them into thine hands, right? Thine enemies. It's not talking about other Israelites. It's talking about other nations. And the Lord thy power have delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast the desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, because the hair and nails, these different nations, like for example, regarding the hair, dreadlocks, right? Elam, is it Elam? Or you have that Shiva, right? Which the dreadlocks, if I'm not mistaken, go back to Shiva Jatas or something like that, which is going into the Elam, if I'm not mistaken, right? Matter of fact, and this lesson, Lord willing, to have some link to it. So let me look this up. Shiva Jatas, and the elder Manatas Akbar did a video going into this a while back, but this shit right here, man. You see this shit? And dreadlocks look fucking disgusting, man. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Them shit start to stink. Hell no. Look at this shit, man. And you nations are gonna come to find out. Look at this. these fucking idols. Excuse my French, man, but look at this. Yeah, and this was in a video that the elder Manatas Akbar did, from the GMS South Carolina camp. I believe he played a video of this woman speaking about it, and then he went into it. Look at this shit, bro. Long ass fucking dreadlocks. All right. Anyways. All right. Verse 13, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month, right? Because they were just killed, right? And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And that's dealing with the heathen woman, showing you that you can deal with heathen women, but you're not to go after the gods of those women, right? They're to follow you and come in and take on, what you got going on, right? Okay. So, but anyways, that's just proving that you can deal with heathen women, which King Solomon dealt with heathen women. Um, King, I don't know where the scripture is going into it. Let me see real quick. King David's wives, KJV. King of Geshur. David took wives in Hebron according to 2 Samuel 3. Mm, okay, well, you know, let's go into it. So we can close these. All right, but anyways, back to First Kings, right, chapter 11, and verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And quick precept, the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, and verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his power, and the Most High made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. You see? Now, let me go back to the book of First Kings. All right, 11 and verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his power, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. These fucking idols of these heathen nations are abominations, man. The Lord hates them. Matter of fact, let's go into abomination. Detested thing, or idol. See that? Idol, right? Disgrace, um, evil, crime, violation, uh, disdain, contempt, distaste, dislike, right? Abhorrence, you know? All right, but verse, let's see, verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burn incense and sacrifice unto their gods. That's where he went off at. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. All right, let me see, verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this thing is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend, meaning rip, or tear the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant, which thy servant is Jeroboam. Right? Verse 12. Notwithstanding in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son, which thy son is talking about Rehoboam. Right? 13. Okay. Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son for David thy father's sake, which that one tribe represents the southern kingdom. But I will give, Salakia, but will give one tribe to thy son, right, Rehoboam, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. All right, now let's jump down to verse 26. And Jeroboam, right, um that's the servant, okay? And you'll see that. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite, right? So Jeroboam was of the tribe of Ephraim, which, going back to that, the chart, Ephraim, or the sign, Ephraim, is talking about Ephraim are the so-called Puerto Ricans, which the tribe of Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. So he was of the tribe, the head tribe of the northern kingdom, okay? And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zerida, or Zeradah, Solomon's servant, right? When you go back, right, it mentioned in the 11th verse, and will give it to thy servant, that's Jeroboam, right? And the son is Rehoboam. All right, verse 27, and this was the cause that he lifted up his hand, O Salakia. Verse 26, and Jeroboam the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zebediah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor, right? And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah, or Ahiah, because there's no J's in Hebrew, Ahijah, I'm going to just say Ahijah. Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field, and Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces, which in 12 pieces represents the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the power of Israel, which the Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, right? And his son's name is Yahushua. I just want to make that clear, because you got guys out here calling on different names and stuff like that. Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. The 10 tribes represents the northern kingdom. All right. So the northern kingdom will be Jeroboam's. You see, verse 32. Hold tight, let me see. Okay, 32. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, right? Southern kingdom. And for with that's what that's dealing with. And for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. 34. Howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, right, Rehoboam, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes, right, the northern kingdom, um, and unto his son will I give one tribe, southern kingdom, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen of me to put my name there. All right. So now let's go to the book of let's just jump over a chapter and start at verse 1. All right, First Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. Let me see where we're at regarding time. Okay. This will probably be a 40-minute, if it be the Lord's will, because we still have some reading to do. First Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam, right? That's the son. Okay. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king, right? And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, right? Remember, Jeroboam is an Ephraimite, right? He so-called Puerto Rican, okay? Her, and it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, his peers, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. Meaning, this um hold tight. I'm trying to find a word that was used. Hold tight. The yoke, it will be made heavier. You see, that's what that means. All right. Verse 11. And now, whereas my father did lay you with the heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat, which we just read that. Um, so when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, right, northern kingdom, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance with the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, hold tight, hold tight. I think I got something mixed up. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I didn't. Okay, the Wadi Alba Shimi, I was shy. Okay, let me read that again, though. 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, right? Rehoboam reigned over them, which the southern kingdom was Rehoboam, and the southern kingdom was to remain with Rehoboam, and the northern kingdom was to be given unto Jeroboam, the Ephraimite, right? Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, which Rehoboam, okay. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. And that's when it really kicked in, right? That split between the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And even you see this day, today, you have so-called black or Mexican, so-called Mexican crime, just friction between the different tribes, right? You know, which when you watch that video that I showed earlier, the brothers in there speak upon that. All right, verse 19. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day, which the house of David right there represents the southern kingdom, right? So that split, you see. But when you read Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, it speaks about one stick, you see, you see, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did a video or a breakdown on Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's just jump to First Kings chapter 12 and verse 20. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of the Most High came unto Shemaiah, the man of the Most High, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearken therefore to the word of the Lord, and return to depart. according to the word of the Lord. You see, so that war didn't happen. Okay, you know. And now let's go to the book of Second Kings. Let's jump to Second Kings, chapter 17. We'll start at verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaz, or Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years, right? Northern kingdom. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to go to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, right? And placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes, which that's between the let me go back real quick. I want to say, hold tight, because the brother showed this. Hold tight. Okay, here we go. That's between, I believe that's the Caspian Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Hold tight. Yeah, is that the Caspian Sea? Yep, Caspian Sea. So that area is between the Mediterranean Sea and the Caspian Sea, right? But you can watch that video, and, it's more in depth, right? All right, Second Kings chapter 17 and verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria, I'm sorry, in the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. And regarding that, I want to keep that there, so let me pull it up in here. Let me see. Fear not other gods. Let me see if I can find that. I guess if we just keep reading it. But if I'm not mistaken, like Deuteronomy, it'd probably be 5. Fear other gods. Hold tight. Damn, I must be mistaken. Okay, other gods. Thou shalt have no other gods. Thou shalt have no other gods. Ye shall not go after other gods. They may serve other gods. Serve other gods to go after. Hold tight. Because if I'm not mistaken, it's a scripture. I could be mistaken though, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, never mind that. But you're not supposed to fear other gods, worship other gods, bow to other gods. All right, verse 8, and walked in the statutes of the heathen whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their power. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, where the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to the law. According to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. And that's happening now, right? The Lord is testifying right against Israel and against Judah, right? Southern and northern kingdom, you know. By his servants, the prophets. He has prophets out there on the highways and byways, and also speaking by way of the internet, on YouTube, Odyssey, so on. And well, those are the main ones I would say, YouTube and Odyssey. You know, but yeah, and out on the highways and byways. You know, 14. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but harden their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their power. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he had made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity, and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, right, and used divination and enchantments, right. And you still have Jake doing that now, right. You have different forms of witchcraft, regarding what is it, Northern Kingdom. But you have Santeria, you have, you know, man, I'm not, I don't know too much about that stuff, but you have Santeria, you have voodoo, you know, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only, right? And that's it on that part. Now, right, none left. You just had um uh Rehoboam, right, dealing with the southern kingdom, you know. Now let's go to the book of Second Esdras. Let me check the time. Okay. Second Esdras, chapter 13, and verse 40, right? And I'm gonna go back to Second Kings, the 17th chapter. I want to read something. All right, Second Esdras 13 and 40, because you have a lot of naysayers and deniers that deny, they think all the tribes of Israel are black, that all black, all that bullshit, man. No, the Lord is diverse, right? There's 12 tribes. I pulled up let me re-pull it up, right? Yahweh the Banyamian, Loya, Shamaiwan, Zabalawan, Aparayam, Manasha, God, Ra'aban Napatalia Ashar Yashashkar, right? And that's the so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Dominicans, Guatemalans, the Panamanians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, Argentinians to Chileans, Colombians to Uruguayans, and Mexicans, man. All right, right, and you people that, matter of fact, the elder Kazakia Allah from the GMS Mississippi camp. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Come on, man. But let me see real quick. Kazakia Allah should be GMS Page Masters. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Video right here. Black only Israelites will not make it. If you don't come out of that, you're gonna fucking die. You think all the Israelites, or you think if someone's not so-called black or brown skin, really, there's no, come on, man. That shit sounds stupid, you know. But you think because somebody's not your skin complexion, they're not an Israelite, and that's carnal, right? Matter of fact, let me get the book of John chapter 7 and verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. And I'm applying that to this, right? The spirit beareth witness. Romans 8 and 16, the spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. All right? So it doesn't matter how you look, you know? That's carnal, man, you know? And we're getting into it right now. We're getting into it right now. All right? Now, back to 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. All right, 2nd Esdras 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes. The 10 tribes spoken of right here represents the northern kingdom, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, which that another land is talking about Assyria, right? The land of Assyria. All right, and we read about that in 2 Kings 17. Where we start? If I'm not mistaken, it was 17. Right here, verse 6. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, right? And placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes, right? So keep that in mind. And carried Israel away into Assyria, right? Dealing with a bulk of the northern kingdom, not every single northern kingdom Israelite is dealing with the bulk, right? Okay. All right, but remember, and carried them away into the land of Assyria. Something like that it said, or it may have said that exactly. All right, 2nd Esdras 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Right, so you wonder how the so-called Native Americans got over here. Listen up, all right? The Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, you know, the Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas are Israelites, okay, of the Northern Kingdom. You see, right? The so-called Native Americans, you know, okay, so on and so forth. That you got Seminole Indians, the tribe of Reuben, which Reuben and Gad are warrior tribes, okay, and you can see that in their spirit, well, I know more about Gad than Reuben, but yeah, man. But anyways, 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, right? Dealing with America, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. And now I'm gonna go to the video that was put up by the right here, because these brothers show it, the map going into, here we go right here. All right. So they came through the Euphrates under the Horn of Africa, right? You see? And up on the right side of South America and all there. All you see it. You see it by way of because back then you had sails, you had wind power. You didn't have engines that was used. They didn't have engines, I should say, right? It was a wind power, sails. Like it's on Netflix. It's a show called uh if I'm not mistaken, it's Valhalla Vikings, or maybe vice versa, Vikings Valhalla, and it shows them sailing. They didn't use no engines, and it was a big ass major storm, and they made it through or whatever. But just showing you that they use sails and you know, all right. But that shows it right there. You see, all right. But anyways, Second Esdras chapter 13 and verse 43. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still to flood until they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth, right? America, man. Then dwelt they there until the latter time, right? The last days. And now when who's they? The southern kingdom shall begin to come. You see? So the northern kingdom got to the Americas before the southern kingdom, you know? Right? And regarding the southern kingdom getting to the Americas, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, which is dealing with primary, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, right? That Egypt is speaking about America, with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, right? For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, which buy is going into redeem, ultimately deliver you, right? But the Lord is going to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel, you see? And Lord willing, we be of the elect, right? And also, we can end it with the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, right? Northern and southern kingdom were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go, right? We just read in the book of Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, it mentioned that the northern kingdom remained there until let me read it, 46. Then dwelt they there, right? Northern kingdom there, which it was dealing with the bulk, not every single northern kingdom Israelite. Then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. All right, so with that, Lord willing, you were edified once again and forever. Call Halim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the earth. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Wa Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Baba Gashai Abad Babar Wa Shalom.